never-ending saga. It seems like every week there's new news about a possible relocation to Las Vegas. And let's bring in somebody who's in the know, I guess, at least more than I am right now. Tabitha Mueller of the Nevada Independent. And Tabitha, I guess the latest is that the Oakland A's started out wanting $500 million for public funding, then dropped it to $395 million. Nevada lawmakers giving legislation that they're willing to contribute up to $195 million. So there's still a $200 million gap right there. Where would you say things stand at right now?
So I think where they stand at right now is we are waiting for them to negotiate and finalize where that money is coming from, right? So it's not just the state legislature. They're also working with Clark County. And they're waiting on kind of that number from Clark County saying, this is what we're willing to kind of offer. And that has not been finalized yet. So until that's finalized, we're sort of in purgatory, so to speak.
Tabitha, I'm wondering, the Oakland A's have a billionaire owner in John Fisher. They're being given the 9 acres that they're going to build on for free, essentially free of charge. And they're not planning to do the community outside the stadium like they were planning to before. Why exactly do the A's need the $395 in public funding?
So I think they need it for the construction of that stadium, right? I mean, this is basically what they want to build is a $105 billion, 30,000 seat retractable roof stadium on this 9 acres. And that, it's changed a couple of times, but that's essentially what they're calling for. And also to incentivize them, kind of moving there as part of the deal, but essentially for that construction.
Tabitha, we're hearing so much on this end, fans being frustrated. We're keeping an eye on it, but how would you sense the vibe is in Nevada, in Vegas, about a possible relocation for the Oakland A's? Do you get a sense that the public would welcome them with open arms, or is there some sort of like, I don't know if we want this franchise here in Las Vegas?
Yeah, so we actually did a poll on that, and specifically asking, in terms of public dollars for the team, how would people feel? And I think it's been a little bit mixed. Like, it's not, 100%, oh, we hate the team or we don't want them here. But I think whenever you start talking about public money, people, don't always want to be using all of their tax dollars for that, so to speak.
Right. It feels like this whole process, in my opinion, has been done in a rush. And I know that there's a certain amount of days left in legislation before they would have to call for a special session. But this is a Las Vegas ballpark that we're talking about here, doesn't it? I feel like this should be treated with a certain level of proper care. If they're, Vegas is known for the extravagant. Is there fear that maybe the rush time frame could affect the quality of the ballpark, if that makes sense?
I don't know if it's a fear about it affecting the quality of the ballpark, because we're just talking about the deal. But I do think that there is a rush time frame here, and that legislation has not appeared, right? We've heard a lot of different numbers, 500 million, now down to 395. They switched locations multiple times. And a couple of weeks ago, Nevada lawmakers said time is running out. Like, we do not want to rush this because this is a lot of money that we're talking about. Right.
Tabitha, the more I read about this, the worse taste in my mouth I have, to be honest. Like, if I'm a Las Vegas resident, the actions of John Fisher, to me, suggest a greedy owner who wants to come in for little or no money out of his own pocket, come in, build all this up, create an entertainment area, create, shopping, restaurants, whatever, to line his own pockets. Is there a sense that Vegas is just being used, because it's the hot market right now? So now an owner who sees money, a potential to make millions or even billions by coming there. Is there a sense that Vegas is being used at all?
I think it's one of the sentiments that we're hearing. I think there's also a lot of frustration around the fact that we still haven't seen anything formal come forward yet. People are saying, hey, right, there's a lot of talk, but what's going to actually happen, especially because the state only meets every 2 years for our legislative session, and we only have 120 days during that time. So if this deal isn't finalized, and if people are serious about getting it done, then and the governor calls a special session to deal with it, we're talking not just money for the A's at that point. We're also talking money to spend on another legislative special session.
Right. And so
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, you mentioned that special session and how that would have to be called. I think there's under 20 days left in this current legislation cycle. Do you think that it gets done before that clock expires?
I think that it all depends on whether they can agree on a number from Clark County in terms of what they're looking for, a number from the legislature. I mean, I think we kind of know that it's about that $195 million is, hey, that's what we're willing to contribute. But there's still a lot of moving pieces on this. And I think that as the clock winds down, there is a lot more concern about this actually getting done.
You know, Tabitha, we've seen other teams, the Oakland Raiders, go down to Vegas, now the Vegas Raiders. How would you say what would you say is their imprint on the community, the fan base there? Are you seeing, a lot of Oakland Raiders Vegas Raiders fans popping up and could the same happen with an Oakland A's team if they move to Vegas?
I think, yes. I mean, we see a lot of people. I live in northern Nevada, so I'm actually not even in Las Vegas proper, but up here in northern Nevada, we see license plates with the Raiders on them. You see a lot of support for the team. You have the Knights too, which is a hockey team, and I think that one thing that is interesting is obviously Vegas's economy kind of runs around gaming and tourism, but teams are part of that, right? Like attracting even Formula One, which is coming to Nevada, is part of this culture of having a year-round schedule of things that are going on.
Right. Yeah. The A's also, they have the lowest payroll in MLB right now. They're on track for historically record low win percentage. And, there's reports that the A's are expecting when they do move to Vegas to get about 70% local and 30% tourist. Do you feel like the locals will support the team, even if they are kind of like what they are now, a really bottom franchise? Like, can they really realistically expect 30% tourists as well to show up if the team is bad?
I don't know. I think that's something that remains to be seen. We don't have clear numbers saying, if it's whatever team, but I do know that, the Raiders aren't doing phenomenally this season, or weren't at the beginning. And they still had a lot of people coming to the games and kind of showing up. And I think there's an appetite when you go to Las Vegas to say, hey, I'm here for a bachelorette, or I'm here for my bachelor party, and I'm going to also hit up these events at the same time.
Right. Makes sense.
All right, Tabitha, here's the $395 million question, or $200 million. Does this ultimately get done? What's your sense here? And I feel like you said earlier, nothing has been formally submitted or proposed from the Oakland, the A's side of things. But do you think this actually gets done?
It's funny, if I had a yes or no answer for you, I would probably have a lot more money than I do right now.
Appreciate it.
But I think that it is, I honestly, I don't know. And I think that is the answer that I can give you. I think that the A's hired a cadre of lobbyists up here to make this happen. I think that there's a lot of folks who are committed to getting this done. I think, though, that the clock is running out. Lawmakers are frustrated about that. We have not heard any formal numbers, right? I mean, a few weeks ago, we were talking $500 million. Now we're talking $395. They had the previous stadium site, and now it's the Tropicana. Like, all of those things are in flux. And until something gets nailed down definitively and we see bill language, I think that, saying definitively one way or the other is not going to be helpful.
Right. One more for you, Tabitha. With the feeling of, you just kind of mentioned that we went from one ballpark site to another here so quick. How long did the A's have to work on this new proposal that they just put in front of legislators?
Oh, I am not sure. Let me think about it, because I believe it was, they went from, it was April 20th,
right,
where they said they had reached a binding agreement with Red Rock Resorts to get 49 acres west. And then it was recently, maybe I think it was last week or something, that they had now switched to that free site at near the Tropicana Hotel and Casino. And so this has been very quick. I mean, information about the A's deal first dropped less than a month ago, and that's when we started
Right.
talking about that $500 million.
Right.
So
Right, yeah.
everything is changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even on my end, I mean, I'm constantly hearing from sources and people in the building, you know, this happened and this is happening. And then 1 minute it's dead and 1 minute it's live. And, you know, different folks are at the negotiating table.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it's like a soap opera for sure, right? Every day there's a new plot twist or something going on, and so
Yep.
we will see. We
Yeah.
will see. All right, Tabitha, thanks so much for jumping on with us. You can follow Tabitha on Twitter, Tabitha__ Mueller. She's of the Nevada Independent. I appreciate you, Tabitha. Thanks so much.
No, thanks for having me on, and happy to talk about gossip. I mean, politics.
Exactly. All right, Tabitha, have a good weekend.
Have a good one.
So, Chris, before we get to break,
Yeah.
you know,
It's crazy, man.
it is
This situation
crazy.
is just nuts.
and as an Oakland A's fan, and you're rocking the hat
I
right
got the
now,
hat on. I
Are
got
you
the hat
rocking
on.
it proudly, though? That's the
Yes.
question. Are you